Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Christopher Gennari, and I'm a professor of history at Camden County College. There's a video that explains more about who I am and what I do at Camden County College. But I've gotten a couple emails from people who have never been on Canvas before. And so I figured I'd make a little video, which you have to kind of get the Canvas to get, I understand, but it'll go through what you're looking at. So I'm going to put this up on YouTube and send it out as an announcement, and hopefully you'll see it. So our entire course is on Canvas. If you are in an online course, an OL course, History 101 or History 102-OL something, that means it's a completely online course. Now, due to COVID, we have had to change. We don't have access to classes right now, so everything is online. And for right now, as of spring 2021, we are asynchronous, which means you kind of do it. I'll give you all the information and you do it when you can. Now, there are due dates. So there are things that are due at certain times for progression of the class. But the idea is you do not have a class time. We don't meet. We don't have a Tuesday and Thursday 9:30. I give you the information. I give you what you need to do. I give you the assignments. You do them, and we all live happily ever after. The purpose of this is, 1, we are not a skills class. 2, we are not a lab class. So the very limited space at Camden County College for students, due to COVID, has to be given to students who either have to do a lab, as in, like, you need hydrochloric acid. Well, you can't ship that to students. Like, that would be weird. Amazon shows up, they give you a box from Camden County College, you go, oh, that's great, you open it up, and it's acid. Like, and then like, okay, now go to your bathtub. We're going to do lab. Like, that's bound to end badly. So you have to bring in students into the lab environment where all the safety precautions are, where a trained specialist professor is. And so those kind of classes have to be kind of in the classroom. There's also skills classes where you learn a progressive skill from step A to step B to step C. So like our engineering classes or our factory manufacturing classes, some of our nursing classes. Like, it's hard to do on your own at home. Those are the kind of things you have to be in an environment with a professional, in a space, with equipment, especially like the manufacturing or like CPR. Like, you can't get your little brother and practice CPR on them. Like, that doesn't work. Don't do that. And so those skills classes require people to be on campus at some specific time so that everyone can get together. We're not that. We're humanities. We're an information class. We're an analytical class. So we are the last people to go back to class. And I would like to be in class, and you would like to be in class, and we'd all do cool things like build a phalanx and fight barbarian ghouls in class, and that would be cool. But we can't do that because we have to be safe. So now we're on Canvas. That's where all of the information is. And it's available to you as long as Canvas is up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's a couple of ways of logging into Canvas. The one is that you can log in through my.camdencc.edu. That's the traditional portal that will also bring you up to your student services. You log into that, and boom, you're in. You click Canvas, and it will bring you up to the page that we'll show you in a second. There's a second way, which may or may not work. It's a way of logging into Canvas directly. and that's to do camdencc.instructure.com. camdencc.instructure, INSTRUCTURE.com. Now that may or may not work. It's a back end way of logging right into Canvas itself. So, so there's those two ways. There may be others, but those are two ways I know about. And like I said, the second one, the instructure.com one, may or may not be a door that's closed to students logging in. I just don't know. I'm not a student. So when you log in, you got, I can only show you the desktop. I can't show you the web, the phone app. And I highly recommend you getting the phone app because, and setting your notifications to on so that when I post an announcement, you'll get it. So, so on the desktop, we log in and there's this account, that's you, dashboard, which is a graphical page of all your classes, courses, your calendar, your inbox, which is your email, history, which I gotta tell you, I never really went on. We'll have to find out. And so since I am logged in as a student, as you can see, I'm in student view. I'm not logged in as a student. This is what I guess it kind of looks like. So when you click on courses, you see World Civilization 1. Now, you may be in World Civilization 2 or History 150 or another class I'm teaching. This is just an example on how to use Canvas. So they'll look more or less the same. So you click on it. All right. And boom. Now you'll notice that stayed the same. Courses, calendar, inbox. All right. But up comes our homepage. And on the right comes up all the stuff to do. Now you notice all of it has due dates, right? January 19th is a little announcement. Then there's January 24th for a quiz is due, January 7th, January 14th, and tells you right there, right? So this is your first to do. Okay? So there's like 7 different ways for you to know that you have stuff due. This is why the I didn't know doesn't work like with me, because there's this, your to-do list, which is always here, right? There's a calendar here. There's a calendar there, but we'll get to that. So there's multiple different ways. And plus, then I'll send you an announcement that's a reminder that stuff is coming up. So there's like 4 or 5 different ways. So this is what our class looks like in spring 2021 in January in the first day of class. It will change because, as we'll show you. But here, this is what's called modules. So if you were to click on modules, this would be what it looks like. This is our homepage. And so we have different things. The introduction video where I tell you about me, how to get started, which is literally a list on how to get started, like what to do. Our calendar, textbook information, which has links to the Barnes & Noble page, but also an alternative link if you don't want to use the campus website. You could go to Amazon and buy the link, buy it there. We do not use Launchpad. It's like said 2 or 3 different times around here. That is a way of getting the digital book. Apparently, I have a class page on it, but like in theory, you can log into it if you use an ebook and see your ebook. But it's Launchpad is a way. It's a drug. It's heroin for book publishers, because what it is, it's Canvas, but owned by the book publisher. So what it wants professors to do is make a page, right? Their entire class there. And they offer like free tests and free quizzes, and you don't have to do any work whatsoever, which is always a bad sign. Like, I got into teaching to actually do the teaching part, like to do the class part. So here's a company saying, you don't have to do any of the class part. We'll handle that. Like, okay. Anyway, so they want you to set up this page because then you won't want to change textbooks. You won't want to change companies because then you'd have to start all over. You would lose it. And so people go, oh, and if there is something, I love professors. I am a professor. I've been one for 20 years. But here's the thing. We are easily annoyed and we have terrible fashion sense. It is just a thing with academics. And the further up in academia you go, the worse, the more easily annoyed they are, and the worse fashion sense. In graduate school, you want to see. In graduate school, when I was in graduate school, there were professors walking around in flip-flops. And they're like, well, Einstein did it. And I'm like, well, you're not Einstein. You know, you have your pants literally on backwards. Oh, I didn't notice. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Smart people, amazing people, brilliant people, pants on backwards. So the closer up to Harvard, Princeton, the more easily. Anyway, so they don't want to do anything. So the reaction to all professors when told you could do it, but you'd have to change your textbook, they go, oh, you'd have to build a new webpage. Oh, I don't want to do that. Like, it's just, is the generic emotion of being a professor. You worked very hard, wrote a dissertation, did all this stuff, and then you spend the rest of your life sighing and going, at all the small problems that you have. That's if you get to the tenure part. So that's why it's heroin. And you know what? Hey, I don't want to be addicted to heroin. We don't need I don't teach the textbook. We're not a skills class. I'm teaching a course and we use a textbook. So if you get the digital ebook because that's better for you, go for it. In theory, I'll have to check into it eventually, but in theory, there's a class page you can log into, you can sign up for, and that will give you access to the ebook. But we don't use all the other stuff that Launchpad has for it because I do it on Canvas. So if this makes sense, I hope it makes sense. But there's questions always about the textbook, and right here, textbook information. So let's go back to home. All right. So we have a module on documents, calendar, textbook, office hours, syllabus. You'll want to get that. We have study guides, or, well, for quizzes, there's still reviews. I interchange study guides and reviews. Some people are very particular that they mean a certain thing. And what I mean it as is a thing to help you do the thing that you're doing. So if it's the syllabus review, it's when you're reading the syllabus, it's a bunch of questions about stuff that's on the syllabus to help you learn what's on the syllabus. So chapter 1 is stuff to look for in chapter 1 of the textbook. Quizzes are based on the textbook. It says it right here. Quizzes are based on textbook. So you read the textbook chapter, you answer the questions, and when the quiz comes up and you take the quiz, you do the quiz, and boom, life is good. Okay? The same happens with the tests. Now, there will be a lot more test reviews, right? So I'm doing them. We're going along. I'm making a whole new class just for you guys and gals and non-binaries and everybody. So the idea is there's all of these. There's reviews. So you go and get the review, and there it is. It's PDF. Click on it, you print it out, has questions, right? So then we go back and we go, and here are the lectures of the class, which you can do at any time. And this is the first 7. This is the first weeks of lecture. So nomadic and early settled societies. Now, here's the thing, and I'll get, every semester I get complaints. that are, oh, these videos are way too long. There's too many of them. This is a class. You are paying for a 3-credit class. 3 credits means 3 hours of work during the week. Okay? For me, that means 2 75-minute classes times 15 weeks. Okay? So that comes out to about 45 hours. That's literally what you're paying for. You're paying for 45 hours of me and you together. That's a semester. That's 15 weeks, 75 minutes times 2. That's about 45 hours. So you are paying, and that's legally what you pay for. Like your student loans. There is a in the student loans laws, so that we can accept the money. Our credits have to be defined as X amount of time. So you are owed 45 hours of material. And so I'm going to give you 45 hours of material. I'm sorry if you don't like 45 hours of material, but that's what you bought. So I would be stealing your money if I don't give you around 45 hours of material. So we're going to have lots of these lectures. So I try to get them into a 20 to 30 minute slice to make them digestible. So here are our videos, and they're all on YouTube, and they're in a playlist, and I'll eventually put a link at the top. That's the thing I forgot. I'll put a link at the top for the playlist, but you click on it, it starts, and you go through the lecture. And if you're really smart or really efficient, you're going to go through this lecture with a notebook, a pen, and the study guide next to you. And so that you write down these notes so that you can review them later. You have the study guide so you can review that. You can write your answers in and go, oh, I know this. And you can write your answers in, and you can do this as you roll through the lecture. Now, if you don't want to keep stopping it, that's cool. You do the notes first, which is probably how I would technically do it, is I would do the notes first. And this is kind of how I designed the reviews originally, but this is just me. That you're supposed to write your notes out and then take your notes and then take the study review and then try to answer those study review questions. And the ones you can't answer tells you what you need to go back and find. They're all there because I made the lecture, I made the study review, I made the slides. It's all me. So there's nowhere else for it to be. So there'll be lots of videos. And as you can see, coming soon. And then there'll be part 2 and part 3. The class is divided into thirds. It's every 5 weeks, basically, for a 15-week class. If you're in a 7-week class, everything is double speed. So it's still a third, and a third, but it's now every 2 weeks, basically. And that's basically the class. That's how it looks. Okay? So what about the calendar? Well, the calendar is going to tell you. You click on the calendar, it tells you when stuff's due. Now, right now, you have the quiz syllabus, and let's go to up here to February, and there they go, quiz. Now, when I make the tests, they'll be filled in as well. Right now, if you want to know your due dates, let's go back to our class. We have that. I have all the due dates in the calendar, and here are all the due dates. Right? And as the thing with Canvas is, you have to make the test in order for it to show up on this calendar. And I haven't made them yet. I'm making them. I'm in the process of making them. But I've got 5 weeks. So the dates are set. The dates are in. It will show up on here eventually. Inbox. You want to write to me. Well, apparently I can't do that. But email would be, you click on this, and it will allow you to write to me. or to any of your professors. So you would click on that. Let's see what history is. Recent history. I guess it's stuff that you did, but like assignments and stuff. So I don't actually know. So that's basically how Canvas works, or at least our history class Canvas works. So you have all your modules. So everything is here. The entire course is here. Okay? Now, there's stuff that's coming. I'm making it. So what I got is the first weeks of material for you, for the review, for the tests, and I got all the quizzes stuff because that's all based on the textbook, right? So this will be filled in, and every time I fill it in with more lectures, I'll post an announcement. Let's go to announcements. Oh, we should do this. So we go to announcements, and there's these announcements, and this is where I'll tell you different things. Like here, The Great Gritty. The Great Gatsby is now in the public domain, meaning anybody can print it and anybody can sell it and anybody can do anything with it. And what somebody did was make a free version of the book where they changed Gatsby to Gritty. So it gives an entirely new perspective on the classic work. It's The Great Gritty. There's textbook information. There'll be reminders. All right. Assignments. How do you take your quizzes? Well, there's two ways. So the first way is, hey, I'm going to go take a quiz. And so it tells you the quiz is locked until January 20th. Quizzes, all assignments go live the Thursday before the due date and are available Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until 11:59 p.m. Okay? So all assignments, except maybe the final day. The final exams will be after Sunday. They'll be on whatever the last day of classes are. Whatever the literal last day of the semester is. Which means there's nowhere to put like lateness for the final. So, but you always have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to take the test. Okay? Or quiz. And so they unlock on a Thursday, and they are available for you to take. Once you start taking it, that does not mean you can take it and just keep going back to it Thursday through Sunday. Once you start, it's like taking it in class. Once you start, the timer runs. Here's time limit, 15 minutes. Timer runs, right? You have 15 minutes to finish 10 questions. Boom. So it's just like taking it in class. So you can't like, oh, I'm going to go pause and going to go do, like, if you start, you got to be ready for it because you're taking it. So one way is to do it on your to-do list. The other way is to go to assignments. And you click on it and boom, there we go. So there's two ways of accessing all quizzes and all tests. When I make the tests, they'll be in a separate, so there's upcoming assignments. They should be in a separate thing called like upcoming tests. And they'll be more organized. And there'll be a separate section and you can take them as we go along. Okay, there's your grade book. So this tells you how you do. What your score is out of. Now, there's a couple things. One is we dropped the lowest test and quiz. We dropped the lowest grade on the test and the quiz. 2, I minimize grades at 50. You cannot do worse on a test, not quizzes. Quizzes are only 10 questions. So you got 10 questions, you got a textbook, you got the study guide, right? But the tests are minimized at 50. You can't do worse than a 50 unless you plagiarize, unless you cheat. So I'm telling you right now, right here, it is better for you to hand in a blank, a nothing, than to cheat. I will give you 50 points for you just to not to do it, for you not to cheat. Not cheating is worth 50 points. You cheat, you plagiarize, I give you 0. And I take plagiarism as a personal affront, because plagiarism is telling your professor you think the professor is so dumb they won't notice that you're cheating. So that's how I feel about it. Now, we dropped those lowest quiz, we dropped the lowest test, and we minimize at 50. Canvas gradebook can't do any of that. So I have a separate Excel spreadsheet that is my gradebook where I do that. And it has like 40 columns. It's complicated. It has lots of formulas to make sure that your grades are minimized and that the lowest test and the lowest quiz get dropped. So that doesn't appear on here. That will never appear on here, which means my gradebook is a few points higher on average than this gradebook, than your gradebook. On average, it's 3 to 4 points, but if you have like crazy wild swings, you got a 90 and a 20 and a 50 and a 81, like that's a crazy swing. So your average is going to be much crazier, right? That 12 becomes a 50. So that's a 40-point difference right there. So while your 90 doesn't move at all. So that's a 0-point difference. Do you see how this works? So it's complicated. But my grade, the grade in my gradebook, is always higher. And in fact, is one of the ways I know I'm doing the math right. Because if it ever comes out lower, I know the math is wrong somewhere. It will always be a few points higher than this gradebook. So remember that. And then I have let this be open, Office 365, so that if you need it, you log in. Every student should have a login. It should, in theory, it's your mycandomcc.edu account. I guess, I don't know. But for students who need access to Office, Word, and Excel, and PowerPoint, I don't know what students have access to for us. I know that's probably Word and probably PowerPoint. But this way you have access to it. Even if you need it for other classes, you at least have access to it through my class. So that's this. Home, announcements, modules and home are the same. Assignments, which is the quizzes and the tests, your grades, and Office. Okay? So that's the class. So let's go back to modules. That's the class. That's here. There's going to be lots. There's 7 quizzes and there's like 10 or 11 tests. So there's lots to do because the tests are all broken down so that they're one topic. They're one group, right? Nomadic and early settled societies. Babylon, Assyria, basically there's one test a week is the way to think about it. But this way they're small. They're 25. They're 30 questions. Rather than one giant 5-week exam that's going to be like 100 or 75 questions. It would be a minute per question. So you have 75 minutes for an entire class. That could, your question 1 could be the ancient Hebrews and question 2 could be Babylon. Question 3 could be Egypt. Question 4 could be nomads. Question 5 could be nomads. Question 6 could be settled societies. Question 7 could be Hebrews. Like, instead, it's organized in the same topics. So there's lots of reviews that cover the videos. I hope that makes sense. I hope this is a little like how to understand Canvas. If there's any questions, please ask. Oh, here, office hours. We don't have any office hours, but we could always organize them through Zoom or some other method. Zoom is our official method, which is what the school wants us to have our office hours in. But if you have a problem using Zoom, we can always talk about it, right? There's other methods, so we can figure it out. Okay? So email me using the email right there. Read your announcements, which is my way of communicating with everybody at the same time, the entire class. Be careful out there because there's a plague. Notice the coming soons. They will be filled in as we go along. Don't worry. I'm going to be well ahead of it. So don't worry about that. But they will fill in. You'll see more and more come in. And if you're taking this class and this video is still up in the summer, this will all be filled in. So you don't even have to worry about that. And otherwise, that's basically it. Get the textbook in one form or the other, from one place or the other. Oh, and the thing about textbook is you should also notice this. This ISBN may not, where do I have this ISBN right here may not be what the Camden County College ISBN is. The book that they have on Camden County College is the book. All CCC history classes use the same textbook. There are not class-specific textbooks for 101 and 102. They're the same textbook, right? But what the publishing company does is publish a textbook with Camden County College on the cover. So it's special. So it's a different ISBN number. The effect of that, why would they do that? Because they don't want you to resell it. It's the same book. It is literally the same book as the 11th edition History of the World Societies. In fact, we have a suspicion that there might be a 12th edition floating around out there that we were told, oh, you should upgrade to that. And then we're like, we just got your 11th edition and we have this agreement that we don't have to change for 3 years. And they're like, oh, no, you don't. And why wouldn't we have to upgrade if you have a new book? And the answer is, it's not a new book. It's the same book. It's just a different cover. So it's just all about making money. And I'm sorry about that, but I'm not a textbook company person. So the idea of this is, if you're buying it from here, from the Camden County College bookstore, you are guaranteed to get the right book. Guaranteed. They're going to sell you the right book. They only have one. From Amazon, you're more likely to get the non-Camden County College textbook. So that means probably this ISBN, right? But don't freak out is the idea, because as long as it's a History of World Societies, 11th edition by Wisner, you're good. It's the right book. But remember, they don't want you to resell your book because they don't make any money when you sell your book. So that's why they put Camden County College on the cover, because if you saw that on Amazon and you were like from Princeton, you'd be like, well, I'm not going to get the Camden County College book. I don't even know what that is. And thus, you wouldn't be able to sell it. See how that works? So that's where we are. The textbook thing seems to be the biggest question. This is how we use the Canvas. Back to modules. There we are. Good luck. Try to get the iPad/iPhone/Android app, just so you could stay up to, like, if I update it or send you a announcement, you'll get it on your phone, and then you could choose to ignore it. That's cool, but at least you'll know it exists. Right? So that's kind of how we work. I hope this made some sense. I know it's a bit of a mess. I just kind of made it just to kind of help. So good luck. Be safe. See you soon. I hope you enjoy the class.